In this special lesson, we're going to cover everything related to Hodger Gracie's cross choke from the mounted position. And I think it's important to say that before we actually start the cross choke from the mounted position, we're going to start in the half guard position. And we're going to start in the half guard position because I feel that Hodger sets up the cross choke from the mount from when actually he enters the mounted position. Specifically, how he's shoulder pressuring the guy. So, starting in the half guard position, we're going to start on this side because Hodger prefers to pass to this side. And I think given everything, given the choice, he's going to do it on this side. So first thing, Hodger does 3 half guard passes. And I'm going to choose the one that's the most common. Now the first thing, we're going to start in tight already, which is a battle. But that's where we're going to start for this cross choke. First thing, when I get in tight, my shoulder pressure is going to be a little bit different than a lot of the times people teach it. A lot of times people teach you to drop your shoulder into the guy, but that's not what Hodger does. From here, Hodger will grab the armpit as far as he can like this until he can secure the lapel, feeding it underneath. And when he feeds the lapel underneath, he's going to grab underneath the armpit here. See, it's not this position right here where I'm dropping my shoulder in like this. I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is kind of reaching like a Darce choke. Like I'm trying to reach in all the way that I can. And notice that my bicep is on his carotid artery right here. So it's almost like I'm going to choke him. So I reach in and I grab underneath his armpit like this. This is going to be the shoulder pressure that you want. Now from this position, what I'm going to do is first, Hodger always likes to look for the head on the ground, this position. But that's not always possible, so we're going to do this cross choke setup from his priority number 2 guard pass. Basically, what is going to happen is I'm going to put my head towards the ground like it would be underneath his armpit. And I want you to pay attention to my leg position now. When my head goes on that side, look at my leg position here. My head goes down and my legs come to this position. Notice how this is straight. It's like in between this and dropping your hip. It's just kind of like 2 legs sprawled like this. Now my head goes on the ground. And when my head goes on the ground and I've committed my weight all the way on this side, it really puts a lot of choking pressure on his neck, like this. Now this is very uncomfortable for the guy to endure this position. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my hand to drive into the quarter guard position, like this. Now my head is on the ground. From this position, I continue to pressure, and it's even a partial choke with using my shoulder pressure like that. And you notice Alex's hand here is eliminating the pressure from the choke here. Now, once he lets go of the quarter guard, which takes some patience and some circling, if you're going to lose it, you can extend him out like this. You can pressure him in and everything until he lets go. You'll probably end up locking like a clock and maybe even being there for 30 seconds. Now, the action is going to take place on this opposite side here. Once he lets go, I'm going to bring my right leg all the way up right here. And I bring my left leg into the mounted position. And this is why I feel that Hodger sets up the cross choke from the guard pass. Because you notice Alex's hand is in this position. Look how isolated his hand is here. His hand can't be on the inside to defend because he was so worried about the pressure from my shoulder pressure and from my arm pressure that his hand is going to be very disconnected from his ability to defend the mounted position. So when I'm in this position, I still have this underneath the armpit, and I'm still cranking him in. Once I'm in this position, I'm going to stay low. I'm going to drive my chest with his chest to make a traffic jam for this arm to come underneath and back into his ability to defend the cross choke position. So another thing happens here. I keep heavy chest with chest here, and I adjust my shoulder pressure. Now I release this hand here, and I just do more standard traditional shoulder pressure from here. Now from this position, let's square up a little bit. From this position, what I'm going to do is keep my head low, and I'm going to open his collar with my head on the ground or very low close to it. I'm gonna open the collar here enough to where I can grab it when I bring my hand across. Now, my shoulder pressuring arm is gonna come across his neck and get the hand in the collar grip. And it's kind of a trade-off. I'm allowing his hand to come on the inside as I get this in here, right here, and I set, and immediately go low. So his hand is now in a defending position. It's not in that isolated position. From this position, I'll kind of weaken my grip a little bit. I'm gonna put my head on the ground, and I'm gonna readjust with this hand. I'm using this hand, my head is gonna be low, but I'm just doing it so you can see it. I adjust it in and get it really deep. Once I get it in deep, I'm gonna come up slightly, not fully postured up here, and lean to this side. Now I'm gonna glue my elbow with his chest, and it makes his head come up a little bit when you do this. Now look how relaxed my hand is gonna be, but I'm pulling down, and that's gonna create my ability to loosen this a little bit, so I can grab it on the other side here. Now from this position, leaning low, I pull down, his head comes up a little bit, and I reach around. Look at this, I come real low, and I reach around like this. I grab the cloth. Notice how my elbow is out towards the camera. It's forming a straight line here. And then I just finished the basic cross choke. My head's here for base, here on this side, so it was here. You swing it around here, grab it in, pick it up, and then you just finish the cross choke. Elbows in tight, pick them up, and head down like this. It's very uncomfortable for your opponent. So the role I feel that the shoulder pressure plays in the half guard pass is very important to how Hodger sets up the cross choke from the mounted position. Is this always the case? Absolutely not. But this pass, which Hodger uses most of the time when he gets to the mount, I'll probably calculate some percentages on how often he uses this half guard pass or one of the 3 variations that I described in the beginning to get the cross choke from the mount. So here's everything from the beginning. Here, I'm already in tight. My hand is grabbing his armpit like this. Now, I'm gonna feed the gi underneath and feed it under the armpit. Now I reach as far as I can, almost like a Darce choke, right here. If my elbow is out, you see how my elbow's like, my shoulder's here, my elbow's further that way, right here? That's no good. I need to reach in all the way so my elbow is in line with my shoulder as much as possible so they make a straight line. That means I have the correct pressure on his neck here. From this position, I get my legs up and my head down and my leg back like this. Now I crank the shoulder pressure to the max. If I need to, I can feed this gi and adjust it. So this position, I push into the quarter guard. Now I wait to kind of work my leg out. And then once I'm ready, I bring it into the high mount here. Now, I release standard shoulder pressure here. Standard shoulder pressure. I can let go of this. I open up his collar, head low. Now once it's opened up, I bring my arm across his neck and get it in like this. Now I lean to this side and come up just a little bit, maybe like 30% high. Now, I glue it in and I make this loose here to feed it. You glue it, pick up his head a little bit, enough, maybe it's just light, and I grab. Now I come in front, pick him up, head low. See how my head touched very far north. The more you bring your head north, the more it's gonna choke him. You can get rolled, but just keep your head really high. And if he's low on your body, the cross choke is very effective. So there you go, Hodger Gracie's cross choke for the mount. Here's some analysis of Hodger doing it. We have time for one match, let's make it good. Note his opponent's left arm position. Because of Hodger's shoulder pressure when passing the half guard, his opponent's hand position is compromised. Here Hodger will switch to standard shoulder pressure, there. Now what Hodger will do is open up the lapel so his right arm can swing in. Here he's opening the lapel, and now his right arm will slide in to get his hand in the collar, there. Now he'll readjust using his left hand and his head on the ground to get in a nice deep collar grip. Now, once he feels comfortable, very low, he'll swing over and grab a thumb in grip on the other side, elbows in tight, head low, and squeeze the cross choke.